So for this tutorial, we are going to talk about test suites. So the idea of a test suite is that you can create a class that will run all of your test classes and all of the unit tests within those test classes. And it turns out that it's not easy to set this up using JUnit 5. In fact, when you look at the JUnit documentation, it says that if you're going to be using test suites, you have to use JUnit 4. So I rewrote the programs using JUnit 4 annotation syntax. And so there's no change to the add function, right? And then here's the add test class. And no change to this annotation, but parameterized tests are in JUnit 5, not JUnit 4. And so there's a different way of doing parameterized tests in JUnit 4, and you can just look that up. And then you'll see that the import changed to assert rather than assertions. So you can just start from scratch, and on this file, right, once you get this done, you'll do the option return, create the test, and then it will create this file with the correct assert import. Just make sure that when you do that, I can show you again. So if I go like this and I say create test, just make sure this says JUnit 4. Okay, so we have that. We have our add test class. We have our isOdd class, and then our isOdd test class. So I just added 2 assert statements, one to assert for true and then one to assert for false. And then you are going to create another file, another class called test suite, or whatever you want to call it. And then when you option enter, you'll create the test, and it will create this file, test suite test. So after you get all of that done, then you will have to add these statements to create the test suite. So you are going to use this annotation, run with, and then you'll say suite.class, and we'll create that down here. So then suite classes, you are just going to list within a list, so within a curly bracket list, the test classes that you've created. So add test and isOdd test. And these will run in the order that you list them. And then you don't have to have anything down here. So when I run this, you can see that they all passed. If I go to, let's go to isOdd test, and I'll do 6. So that's going to fail, right? So I'll go back here, and when I run this again, you can see that the isOdd test failed on line 8. So if you click on that, it'll take you right where it is. Okay, so sorry about that. You can probably dig in and figure out how to set up test suites in other languages. Like if you are going to be programming in Python and you want to use a unit testing framework in Python, the idea is the same, right? You're going to create one test class to execute all of the other test class.